Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Jack Thompson. Thank you so much for that. And for those interested in requesting any type of reviews, re-reviews, video game stuff, topics, reactions, commentaries, what have you, I'll try to get to it as soon as I can. PayPal is usually the best bet, or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box under most of these videos. And this is for a review of The Maid 2, The Trench. I never read the book. The first movie, I heard the audiobook of it because that was a request, and it was very interesting. And in fact, hearing the audiobook, although it has its flaws, made me dislike The Maid more. Because in the book, audiobook, but in the novel, it was like the maid was it bioluminescent? It was kind of, I don't want to say glow in the dark, but in a way, because of how dark and deep it is, so it would like have this glowing light that'd be very tough to do live action without looking goofy. But if you do it the right way, it could be interesting, like the creatures in the abyss. Like if it was done that way, that could be cool. And like the finale is your hero inside the maid, crawling through the muck and decomposed, half-digested bodies, crawling into the heart and stabbing the heart. And I'm like, that'd be really fucking cool. Can't do that because these have to be neutered and rated PG-13. So I'm not big on The Maid. I didn't hate the film when it came out. I'm like, this is very mundane, meh. Nowadays, I'm like, I don't like the film much. Now, The Maid 2, I didn't think the first film made enough money to do a sequel, but I guess apparently that was the case. I don't know how much money this made. Jason Statham comes back. He's now working with the group from the first movie, helping with environmental details. Which, I don't know why, made me think, is he going to be Captain Planet? That'd be funny. Jason Statham's Captain Planet. Who are the Planeteers? Long story short, they go on an expedition on the trench. One thing leads to another. They crash land on the ocean floor, and they have to traverse along the trench. They get from point A to point B, and that's like half the fucking movie. And that kills the movie. Because, believe it or not, I would say I do think this was better than the first. I do. Because I think the third act, Sally, you don't have the carnage because it's PG-13, neutered. But there's enough crazy over stuff going on that it does feel like a big event. While the first one finale felt a bit mundane, it's a maid, but it didn't feel like a whole lot of stuff happened. Here is like we got 3 maids, and we got an octopus, and we got these creatures on land named, what were they, snappers? So you have so much shit pushed in there, there has to be stuff going on, and it makes it less boring. So there's some dumb, very CGI overload, but there's a couple fun moments to be had if I'm being fair on it. And I do not think this is the worst film of the year. I probably would not even put this in my top 10 worst, because I could watch this over Skinamarink, Beau is Afraid. It didn't piss me off like Mutant Mayhem or The Flash. It's harmless, but mostly forgettable entertainment. Part of me still thinks it sucks because the first half sucks. Like the first, okay, it's a 2-hour movie pretty much, give or take. The first half, fuck, it sucks ass. It sucks balls. It sucks used, torn up tampon vaginas. The dinosaur opening, I don't mind because that was in, I think, the novel of the first movie. I think the first novel, The Maid. They put that into this, so it was kind of cool to see that. The maid killing a T-Rex and driving his ass back in. But then the first song you hear is Under Pressure. I went, I will admit for a split second I went, oh my god, it's not Ice Ice Baby, is it? Vanilla Ice? Just a, oh, okay, it's Under Pressure. So, okay, it's the better song. But then I'm like, really? Under Pressure? I mean, I like the song, but it's like, okay, you know. And Jason Statham is pretty much run of the mill by the numbers in this. And I like Jason Statham. But it really does look like he just took this for the paycheck. I guess I don't blame him because I don't think there's going to be that much longer that he's going to get lead roles in big movies. I think this film, Expendables 4, might be some of the last times he gets to be in big budget. Because, I mean, other than, you know, Fast and Furious, whatever cameo bit roles he's in those. But I like Jason Statham. I liked him in the Transporter 1 and 2. And it's always cool to see Statham in the lead. So at least there's that. And not someone I would give zero shits about. I'm not as tired of seeing him compared to The Rock. So it's nice to see Statham, but I don't know, there's nothing special about his role. You just say, well, he's playing the same guy. You just say that for a lot of people, to be fair, but it's just, they try to incorporate a couple fight scenes. They're pretty lousy fight scenes. Since the beginning, he's working for the environmental groups. He's taking pictures of this toxic waste dumping. He gets found out, little chase. He has a little bit of a fight, but it's a really lousy nothing fight. Because I think this director is not really... I don't know what this director has done, honestly, but it's not action. Especially that fight scenes. There's nothing much to it. I think he does like 2-3 punches. Just how out there his buddies rescue him. And then they get back to ultimately the Oceanic Institute. Now, I will say one thing I like this more than the first is they don't try to have some kind of bullshit love story. Because I guess the girl, the Asian lady in the first movie, I guess she got into some deep shit. I don't remember the details. Just like she disappeared for a while, then she reappeared, and then I don't know if it's like some tax evasion type of thing or something. Like she got in some deep shit over there in China. So they killed her, teared her off in this movie. Which honestly was fine, because I didn't think she was that good in the first movie. I thought her and Statham had no chemistry with each other. So I'm actually fine with that. Instead, they have a character that I don't know if he was in the first film, but it's that lady's brother. And they have the little girl who's grown up now, a little bit more of a teen girl. Thankfully not obnoxious or annoying. And, you know, it's her uncle and the dead lady's brother. He's in this. And I didn't mind him. His acting isn't the best because he's not the most fluent in English, and sometimes I didn't know what he was saying. But based on his actions, him taking chances and being heroic, I didn't mind him. I would say I liked him more than the girl in the first movie. Although you can really tell they're really pushing for the China market in this movie, because they try to make him as much of a hero as Jason Statham is. Like, Jason Statham does this guy has to do this. If Jason Statham does this, then this guy has to do this. Now, I didn't mind the guys, so it didn't bother me too much, but I could kind of see what they were doing to hopefully get much more of that China market. I don't know if it did, because I don't know how much money this made. But you could tell they were really pushing that. So the uncle, like, he takes risks. Like, apparently there's a maid. I guess there was a maid at the end of the first movie that was still alive. I can't remember. Barely remember that film. But now this guy has trained it. I think he's named it Hachi. And has this thing. Now, I thought they were going to do more with that. Where it's going to be maid versus maid. Like the good trained maid versus the other evil maids. No. It's pretty much there so that at the end of the film you think he's going to be eaten nope, it turns away and that one is still alive. Pregnant now, but alive. So it doesn't really do much. It kind of escapes and it's with the group and then the other maids, and then doesn't really do much in the whole middle section of the movie. Because what happens is, after the opening, then you get to know the characters, which it really is in this movie's strong point. I mean, I don't mind the team of, I like Cliff Curtis as an actor. I liked him he was in Deep Rising. He was in Live Free or Die Hard. He's been in a few other movies. Didn't mind him in those. I didn't mind the one guy, DJ, played by Paige Kennedy. He returns from the first film, but here is more prepared. So he learned how to fight. He learned how to swim. He brought a big fucking, what was it, 50 caliber handgun or something, he said. I got poison tip bullets like Jaws 2. So I like that he was a bit more prepared and not nearly as annoying. Or he was in the first film. He's comic relief, but he's not that irritating or annoying. So I didn't mind them. But the first half is just really dull because it's the maid too. You think, okay, they're going to the seafloor. They're on their way. There's two devices. Jason Statham, the girl is a stowaway, and a few other characters are there. The uncle, I'm going to call, I forget the character's name, but the uncle of the teen girl, he's in the other one with his team. They're both going down. They see a station down there. They wonder what the hell's going on. And you have some human bad guys in this. And they're mining some shit. And the guy's like, oh shit, we've been found out. Blows it up. There's a landslide. Fucks up the two vehicles. We don't know what to do. We gotta go along the trench. And it feels like it goes on forever. It feels like 20 minutes of them just walking along. Something grabs one person. They're attacked by the swarm of, I don't know, the snapper creatures, which not much in their design. They weren't cool looking or creepy or crazy. It was just, okay, we need something else smaller to attack these folks. Not a whole lot of maid action in the first half for a film called The Maid 2. Then they get in there, and then you realize that one of their own back up top is a turncoat bitch. And her and the other woman, who's a female villain, was really lackluster. You also have this henchman, who I guess Jason Statham fucked over years ago, because he's a bad guy. Very lousy villains. Very one-note, forgettable villains. And I'm sitting there going, this first half is just really fucking boring. Like, where's the maid action in The Maid 2? Like, it just feels very dull, lifeless, not that creative. Not much to the characters, not much to the dialogue, not much fun banter between the characters, unlike, say, Tremors with Fred Ward and Tim Beatty. Look at the dialogue and the way they talk with each other. Or even Tree Williams, may rest in peace, with Kevin J. O'Connor in Deep Rising. That's how you get likable characters or personality. It's not really a lot in here. Because the one uncle, he's doing his best, but he can barely speak English, but he's doing the best he can. Statham, the other characters are they're okay, but they're one note, whatever. It wasn't horrible, but just very blasé first half of the movie. There's even a point where the bad guys up top are telling this one lady to go shoot Jason Statham. And she's contemplating it, and I'm sitting there going, who's to say they're going to tell the truth? So the fact that we have to have the suspense, number one, you know Statham's not going to get killed. Number two, there's no reason for this lady to believe that those people are going to let them go. You'd have to be an idiot to believe them. So she doesn't. They try to flood them, and Statham swims over. I don't know if this is true, but they talk about how if you take all the air out, of your lungs, even though you're so deep below the ocean floor. You just swim and not die or whatever, because there's no air in your lungs, and he can hold his breath for like 30, 40 seconds, whatever. Whatever. Logic, whatever the fuck. And he gets there, he passes out, but thankfully the human bad guy was really nice, because he's dragging Statham and waits for him to wake up before trying to kill him. Hey, wake up. Now I'm going to try to kill you. I'm like, he's not the fuck out. Why didn't you just go... Or, no, I'm going to wait for him to wake up. Wake up. Now I'm going to kill you. What the fuck? Oh my god. So the bad guy's an idiot, and the only thing I remember him is he has a thick accent. I forget what nationality. So either they're walking on the trench floor, or you have very stereotypical one-no bad guys. Or bad guys doing stupid shit. It's really the last, like, 30, 40 minutes that I can have some fun with this movie. Which is more than I could say for The Maid. Although, there's one or two moments I don't mind, like the way Statham kills the shark at the end of the first Maid. Although I would have preferred the way it was in the book, but again, another mistake is made to this PG-13 again. They didn't learn a whole lot of their mistakes from the first. Other than, oh, thank God there's no love story in here. And they try to throw a lot in the kitchen sink element in the third act, so I had some fun to be had. Because, of course, our heroes make it out, make it to the top. The facility's been taken over by bad guys. Statham and the Asian guy fight a couple of them. Cliff Curtis and the Taylor DJ, they escape from them, and they're able to hold their own. I liked some of the little bits between Cliff Curtis and Jason Statham. They had some fun little moments back and forth. And this group of characters, like, I don't hate them. They were serviceable, but nothing remarkable. And in the third act, it's all this shit coming to Fun Island. That's literally what it's called, Fun Island. And it's hard to say that there's more carnage because it's PG-13. You don't have a lot of carnage. But yeah, more stuff happening where... Although with 3 fucking maids, you think it should be wall-to-wall carnage, but... Of the 3, one of them doesn't really do anything. It's mainly... So I should really say 2 of them. There's some decent shots. I like the bit where there's a POV of a shark mouth going... Like, the camera's in the shark mouth, and it's going... And we see people keep getting consumed by the shark. I thought that was a cool looking shot. Because there's spoilers now, heavy spoilers. It went at a good enough pace that there was always something happening, so my mind wasn't bored with it. Statham on a jet ski, dodging 2 sharks, having explosive spears that he throws and blows up one part of one shark's face. Let me put it this way. There's a moment where the bad guys are shooting at Jason Statham. Statham is shooting that henchman guy. Statham's got the gun. I don't need this for you. Yeah, I knew you couldn't do it. Statham hits the guy. The guy flies back as the maid eats him. So you have the shot where Statham kicks. The guy flies back. And the shark's coming and grabs it. I thought that was a cool moment. I thought that was a fun moment. That and some of the stuff where they're dealing with the octopus. Again, Statham did something and killed a maid. So now the Chinese, the Asian guy has to do something. So he's helping try to blow up this octopus. I know, what the fuck do you mean an octopus? Yes, there's an octopus there. I think we saw him one time on the trench floor kill someone, and then you forget about it. So then when it pops back again, you're almost like, where the fuck did that come from? Oh, I think there's that one shot. So it's like the maid, having multiple maids isn't enough. We gotta have an octopus in here. But it's very much CGI overload. I mean, it's over the top. If you're into that stuff, there's some fun to be had. And I had a bit of fun. Empty-headed fun, but it's nothing that I'm going to remember a week or two after. It's just the first half of the film is very dull and lifeless and slow-paced and rather boring. The characters really aren't much to run home about in terms of development, in terms of personality. The bad guys are very one-note. The musical score, I don't remember a damn thing about. The special effects, kind of similar to the first. I do appreciate more of the fuck it, let's just go over the top finale. And like I said, the last 40 minutes, there's some dumb fun to be had. Again, Statham kicks a bad guy into his short's mouth. That's kind of cool. Statham, spoilers, like I say, he spears one. The other, he lifts his helicopter blade. The helicopter's crash, and the shark goes, and his mouth, and it punches through the top head of the damn shark's head. That's kind of cool, fun, over the top. It may be stupid, it may be ridiculous, but at this point, I'm kind of fine with it. And in DJ, his theater's a lot more better in this because he's more useful. At one point, he saves some characters by jumping, like he's Will Smith in Bad Boys, jumping with a gun and shooting one of these snapper creatures that's on land. Which again, those creatures are very boring design. But I did say they wanted some creatures on land and more foil for our bad guys to deal with. And once in a while, there's a funny moment. Like, there's a bit where Cliff Curtis and the Asian guy, they try to get this helicopter. I should be bait. No, you should be bait. Can you fly a helicopter? Yes, I can. Really? When do you do that? Well, okay. And Cliff Curtis takes it and runs. Wait. Shh, go. So he forces the guy to be bait. I will admit, I chuckled at that. Cliff Curtis was fun. I like that actor. He's having fun with the role. It's definitely the most fun I've seen him with a role in a while. He's usually playing a very straightforward character. But I wish he was R-rated. That would have been so much better. To use some practical effects. I don't know if there's any practical effects in this movie. Like, at least have some of the creatures on land, make some of them practical effects. I mean, they did that back in the day with that low-budget film with Komodo. Have some of that. Put some of the budget in that. And take the risk and make it R-rated. Get some blood and some grisly mayhem in there. Imagine if you had a couple scenes like that scene in Piranha 3D. With that massacre. You have a couple scenes like, ooh, shit, yeah. That could really get some talk going. But no, it plays it safe. Very mundane on that. Very neutered. So you don't really feel much of the threat of these creatures. Like I said, the maid that could be trained, really nothing's done with the fact to be trained. It's just, oh, here's the last maid. The Asian guy does a button, it turns, it's no longer crazy, it's well behaved again. But it's pregnant, I guess, for the Maid 3. Which I would say that would never get made, but I didn't think there'd be a sequel to The Maid as well. So, because I didn't mind the Asian guy, I liked him more than the girl in the first one. Because the finale, there's some dumb fun to be had in the last 40 minutes. I would say when they leave the station on the ocean floor, they get back to where the bad guys are taking over, the human bad guys. That's when the movie starts to get a bit fun. But that first hour is a struggle to sit through. It's just Statham having a lousy fight. Really not much to these characters. Bare bones, paper thin, anorexic. in terms of character work. The Asian guy doing his best, but sometimes it's hard to understand what he's saying. English is not his, fluent language. The bad guys being so one note. The journey of the trench was a very boring journey. Sometimes you wish there was like a bit of James Cameron, like how he filmed The Abyss. How you really film that shit underwater. You wish they would have taken a few notes from that. Make it feel more epic, make it feel more involved. But when you know everything's CGI, it just loses a bit of its effectiveness. There's definitely no steers, or really, I would say any attempt at steers in the movie. And there's not much maid action in the film called The Maid in the first hour. And with two maids, you think there should be a lot more fucking carnage, and that felt like kind of the same as the first. Even though there's two, well, technically three of them. So the fact they had to add an octopus and the snapper things, I thought was kind of a weird decision, but at least they didn't make it boring. So, I'm not a fan of the film. I do think it's a bit better than the first one. I can see why people would get some fun out of it as a diversion, but just... I don't know if I'd call this a rant, but... Well, God damn it, get some balls and get some better writing. Get a more competent director who knows how to handle action. Get some better writing of these characters, and grow some fucking balls and make it balls well R-rated. Not saying that would save the film automatically, but it would fucking improve on it. But I don't know. It is what it is. So, hey, if you catch it on HBO or some other cable, the second half you'll get some dumb fun moments if you like that kind of Jurassic Park style kerfluffle, I guess. But, yeah. Other than that, I don't know what else to say. Thanks for watching. Take care. It didn't piss me off. But it's like, the first half I went, this is just a sluggish pace movie to get through. Why does it have to take a little over half the film for it to finally pick up? At least a bit. But anyway, it is what it is. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.